guys, I'm doing real good.
Stream button.
Hi,
too many times to count.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to MangaPod. We are a weekly podcast in which we get together now every week consistently after our nice long hiatus that we had. Where we get together after we've read all our part of a manga and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week we read Beck, volumes 1 through 5, chapters 1 through 15, and also this week we are sponsored by the awesome Crunchyroll. If you do not know what Crunchyroll is, it is a wonderful streaming service and they have like anime and manga and all the J-dramas, including the live-action Death Note, which I have been binge watching since TV told me to.
You keep watching it?
Yeah.
Oh
I'll just
my
be
God.
sitting there like laughing at Ryuk.
I was explaining the first episode to Sam, and while I was explaining it, I was like, God, I gotta watch more of this show. And he was like, really? Because you just made it sound really bad.
Literally every episode, L takes his shirt off. L takes his shirt off every single episode. I just sit there and laugh. He'll like get a stain on his shirt and he's like, Watery. And then he just strips. They know. It's meant for me. He knows. They know he's one of my husbandos.
I made this show for you.
But yeah, Crunchyroll, they have that. Go check it out. It's awesome. And they also get simulcast, so every season you can check out new anime as they air. They come out with subtitles 1 hour after they air in Japan, which is really awesome. So we are so grateful to them for sponsoring us this week. They are dope. Go check out their manga section for sure. They have a lot of great titles there. I am Erin of Happily Erin, your host, and with me are two of my three lovely co-hosts because Yoku still couldn't make it after all this time, so it's standard podcast. It's really sad. I was really upset. So yeah, you guys. We also have a very special guest who will be introducing himself last.
Get into
But
it.
what up? Hi, I'm Dodger. I'm really excited to come back to MangaPod. It was awesome to read Beck because I've heard so many good things about it for so long. So yeah, I'm excited for us to talk about it. The end.
Yeah.
Done.
Hi, my name is Lou, and I'm from Lou Talks Anime, and I'm also very excited to talk about Beck specifically because I picked it.
Because
for
it's your
a
birthday
reason.
pod.
It is my birthday pod.
Oh, we'll get into that more.
Yeah. But yeah, so
That sounds-
it's been a while, and I'm happy to be back.
Yeah. Lovely
Hi
guest.
everyone, it's ProfessorOtaku here, and I am happy to be guesting here. Anyway,
Whoa. Did you just like...
I don't get enough FaceTime in my
Was that
life.
like really metaphorical? Did you just throw away your identity and now you're a different person?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
No, I'm good. I need to put my own face in my own videos more often, so I figure this is good FaceTime. I'm super stoked to talk about Beck because out of all the anime I've ever seen, that ain't one of them, and I have not read it. So it's just like,
I did not expect
how
that.
did I miss this?
I know, I didn't either. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for being here. We're super excited to have you. And if you guys in the chats on the YouTubes or the Twitch, if you've never joined us for MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description, aka a summary of the manga that we read. Our wonderful guest Prof will be. If you just heard that a Windows update noise, I'm sorry. You'll be reading that for us, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time reading this manga or not. So that way, if you don't want to be spoiled once we jump into spoiler section, you don't have to be. You can take your leave, go read it, and then come back, watch the VOD of this on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/happilyerin. I also just realized something that I forgot to mention about the Crunchyroll thing. If you guys would like to try a 30-day free trial of the premium membership, if you haven't already, you can go to the link that is on the splash screen, crunchyroll.com/mangapod, and you can check it out. You can get a free 30-day subscription through that. So it's really cool. It's awesome if you haven't already done it. It's totally worth it, and I love mine. I use mine all the time. So yes, saying that, Prof, would you read us our spoiler-free description, please? Wait!
All right,
Just
here it
kidding.
is.
Sorry. Just 1 second. We have to sing Lou happy birthday.
Happy birthday! Yay!
Okay, ready? I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Ah! Happy birthday to Lou. Happy birthday birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
You know, that is the 29th year that song has been sang to me, and it will never not be embarrassing.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
this is also of note because this is the first MangaPod where that song is public domain, and we can totally do it as many times as we want
that's
without
true.
getting sued.
Gosh, you're right.
Wow, we really dodged a bullet there.
All those past manga pods have been taken down and we just didn't realize.
Oops. Sorry, now Prof, it is your turn. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Okay. So here's the official back of the box reading. Koyuki Tanaka was feeling the rut, even though he's only a teenager. Between the sheltered and stifling grind of school and the girls that spend their time not noticing him, every day was just another day of being a nobody. Enter Ryusuke, a local rock and roller haunted by a shady rep. Together, they form Beck, a dynamic band that just might be the salvation of the stagnant music scene. Sure, it's gonna take hard work and obsession to make it, but there's something special in the sound. If the guys stay true to their vision, the world awaits. Music can change your life, sometimes against your will. Just remember, when it's live, anything can happen.
Ooh.
I was halfway convinced that you just came up with that last line on the fly.
I know, I did too.
I wish I was
can
that
change
cool.
your life, maybe.
Oh. Awesome, thank you. So let's give our spoiler-free recommendation. Would anybody like to go first? Otherwise, I can go.
You can go first. Miss Mother of the Pod.
Mother of the Pod.
Ah, welcome
Became-
to Mother Pod.
You guys didn't know, but we changed demographic focus.
Podcast where we talk about babies.
Oh.
Aren't you guys happy you're here for this? I definitely recommend this, especially if you're somebody who likes slice of life manga. It does really well what a lot of good slice of life manga do, and that not a ton happens, like stuff happens, but it's not epic fights or battle sequences or tons and tons of like drama or romance or anything. It's just a really nice story about music and this 14-year-old dude who's finding his way in the music world, and it's really cool. It has really endearing cast, specifically the main character, who will surprise you if you take him on first impressions. You will be incredibly surprised by him later on as he progresses. And so I recommend it, especially if you like slice of life, and also if you like music. It's a really fun music story too. We haven't even gotten that far in it, but I've really loved everything that I've read. So that's me.
I can go next and say, yeah, I wasn't expecting a lot out of this, but I've been told a lot that it's very good. And so I expected it to be this big story that was literally all about music, and it really isn't. It's about a kid finding something that he loves and throwing his whole heart into it. And I thought that it was really great what we've read of it so far. And originally we weren't going to read as much as we did. And then Lou messaged all of us and was like, guys, we have to read more. Like, we have to read more. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that he said that, because yeah, like Aaron was saying, not a lot happened, and yet it felt like a lot happened. But looking at what we were going to read, I'm so glad that we read more, because we got to kind of the kickoff point of the real story arc. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that it's really good, and I would be excited to read more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to go next.
Do it.
I highly recommend this manga. As someone that has seen the anime, it did a lot of things differently. So even if you have seen the anime, you would get something completely different and new and refreshing out of it. It handled, like Aaron and Dodger both said, it handled slice of life really well, and it was a story that knew how to balance the little bits of drama with I guess some good comedy, and also just not going too heavy with its drama as well. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you're into the slice of life genre, especially since while it's all kids in a story, it's not actually set in high school. Like a lot of what happens happens outside of the school. So if you're looking for a slightly different take on something that happens a lot in this medium, then I'd recommend it very much. So it's very good, guys.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Yeah, I also and I just want to say this like right out the gate that usually I look at slice of life stuff and go, no, thank you. But I really did enjoy what I was reading so far. Now it's a little bit of a slow burn, and if you don't have a lot of patience for that, you might want to watch the anime, and which I think has better pacing from like the 2 episodes I watched. But, like from what I'm vaguely
so
remembering
real.
several years ago.
So honest. I love it.
But like that being the case, yes, no, this is a good solid slice of life series, especially for somebody who's not like super into slice of life stuff. It eschews a lot of the more high schooly stuff and gets right into the meat of the story within a couple of chapters and to having success. Yes, so definitely watch it, read it.
Both.
So am I on?
Where am I? Where am I right now?
Where
am I?
What?
What?
What? Awesome. With that, we are going to jump into spoiler section. What this means is we are going to be talking in depth with spoilers about chapters 1 through 15. So if you do not want to be spoiled for that, now is the time to take your leave. If you are going to hang around, if you are going to be hanging around, we do ask that you do not spoil anything past chapter 15 of the manga, and don't spoil anything in the anime. You will be called a rotten bacon butt, and you will be timed out on Twitch, and then if you keep doing it on Twitch, then you'll be banned, I think is what's next. And if you're on YouTube, you're just going to get straight up banned. So please don't do that, just don't do it. It'll save everybody a lot of trouble. So let's jump into spoilers. Whee! Yay!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beck is God.
Ah! It's a good one. It's good. I half expected somebody...
Prof, what was yours? What was yours, Prof?
Oh, it was, Beck was a Gundam the whole time.
Beck wasn't God. He was a Gundam.
He was
Guys,
a
come on. Were
Come
you
on,
even
jeez.
reading
He
the
was a
same manga as
Gundam.
me?
Man, we effed up. It should have been Gundam the whole time. Everyone's a Gundam. Awesome.
I have expected somebody to say Eddie. Because everybody was all
Oh my God,
on Eddie's
everybody.
nuts in what we read.
Can we talk? Sorry.
What?
So one of my favorite parts of this manga was when the edgy guy, the guy from the rival band, walks up and he's like, I'm gonna be playing with dying breed, and he's all sassy, and they
Oh
go,
my
your music
God.
sucks, get out of here. And he just wanders away like all depressed, and like the
No,
staff
it lit his
escorts
car
him
on
out.
fire.
I was like,
Yeah.
what the shit? You guys go ham. Oh my God.
I was like, wait, what? Did I miss something? It was amazing. It was my favorite part. Anyway, expectations.
All right, I want to go first since
Do it,
I was
do
the
it.
one that actually selected this manga because it's my birthday pod. When I was getting into anime, which I've been watching anime probably since I was 5, but really getting into it to where I am now in terms of my interest, where it is my main interest. One of the first shows that really grabbed me was Beck. It was completely different from everything I had seen before, because like basically everyone else, I started watching with some mecha, a little bit of Gundam, but mostly just shonen series, and then came Death Note, which opened my eyes to different genres within anime, and then Beck. And for a period of about 4 to 5 years, Beck was my favorite anime. So when I started to read this, I had fairly high expectations, but they were somewhat mitigated by the fact that my taste had changed since I watched the show.
Right.
So my expectations were basically that I was gonna get a good story that felt familiar, and I was going to be losing what I loved most about the show, which is the music. But from that point, I didn't know what exactly to expect, because while I do remember the story, like very, very much so, very vividly, looking back on it, almost a decade after the first time I watched it, I've changed as a person. So I was really afraid that I wouldn't like it as much as I did the first time I saw the show, and I surprisingly did. And there's a lot of things that I actually prefer about the manga. So I'm really glad that we read it.
Awesome.
I am excited to hear what it is that you prefer about the manga versus the anime.
I can say it right now.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, hit it.
Yeah.
Bringing it up right
We're
now.
in spoiler section. Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so something that the anime does is the way they handle Koyuki, in that Koyuki in the manga is more depicted as childish. Like when he drops the guitar off the side of the bridge. In the anime, the way they handle that is he just stumbles on a rock for whatever reason. Like there's no cicadas chirping, oh, I need to go catch me some cicadas. No, he's just clumsy, he just drops it. In the manga, I feel like that's done to show that he's still very much a child. And that's just an element that is brought up a lot throughout the course of the manga, which isn't mentioned at all in the anime. The anime tries to age the cast a lot more than what they are. And I think the manga does a better job at representing their ages. Granted, they still come off as older than, like Koyuki at the start of the manga is 14. He definitely does not come off as a 14-year-old. But the anime just didn't handle it as well. Like he honestly feels like he's a junior in high school as opposed to a second-year middle school student.
Right.
So it's just one of the main things that I really liked about the manga over the anime, is that it felt more like his growth felt more genuine. It didn't just feel like random teenage angst.
Right.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's something I was like, oh, thank God, this isn't that.
Yeah, Koyuki really surprised me in general, because there would be situations where I expected him to respond in a certain way, and then he would respond in a way where I was like, good. Good on you, Koyuki. Like with the guitar. Like when he busted the guitar, he fessed up, right? Yusuke was like, get the fuck out of here. And he was like, I'm going to work really hard and get this fixed. And I was like, that's awesome. Like it wound up being kind of, we use this term all the time, but it wound up being a coming of age story where I was like, you're turning into a really good man, right? Like he definitely starts off feeling like a boy, like Lou said. And you start to see him turning into like the adult that he's going to be, and you really like that person. I thought that it was really nice seeing that, even with as little as we read. Like we didn't read that much, and even then you start to see some changes in him and seeing him make decisions. And I think that's what the whole beginning of the manga was supposed to sort of reflect too, is this moment when he's like, I don't want to get involved in anything. I want to just live my life and like follow the status quo. And he winds up making some choices where it's like, I don't know why I did that. You know, he's just like, why did I do that? But it was the right choice to us, right? As the reader.
And one thing that I really, really liked about his character arc is that it was completely accidental, because it ended up not being the guitar that was actually important to Ryusuke.
Oh,
That's what really made it for me. It's just he goes through all this development, and it wasn't the right guitar. It was one that Ryusuke had apparently stolen.
When it got broken the second time, I was like, no! I was so upset.
I was like upset for Koyuki. I was like, you poor soul, you tried so hard. This isn't fair. You're trying so hard, you precious baby. Yeah. It was, And then it turns out that it didn't even matter. I love the realization of like Ryusuke realizing that. He's like, wow, I fucked up.
I have been a huge jackass to this kid for weeks on end over nothing. And I was amazed that he had that kind of realization moment, because like you get some characters like that who would just like play it off like, yeah, well, whatever. I screwed up, all right. But like, he's like, oh no, I kind of probably should fix this. You want to play that, man?
Yeah, do you want to come to my jam
You
session?
want to do that? You want to go? Let's play music together. Yeah.
That's like something that was really surprising and just nice about the whole manga is that any sort of drama that did happen, it wasn't dragged out, or it didn't do the typical manga thing where it was like completely misunderstanding each other without communication. They were like, hey, okay, so this happened. Somebody obviously knows they messed up, so they're fixing it. It wasn't just like things kept happening and people kept trying to avoid it and it just kept getting worse and worse. It was fixed quickly so they can then move on and focus on something else, which was what a good slice of life does. It's not just the one big drama that just keeps getting dragged on endlessly.
Right, or at least in that situation, because I think that is the like longest sort of tense situation we had in what we read, and it was really good plot wise, like story wise, because it became the fuel for him to like really dedicate himself to something, you know. And I thought that did a lot for character progression. So just in general, like drama was used really well for the story, I guess.
I agree with that. Yeah. Awesome. So we're talking about Koyuki so much, but I just love him. I don't know if I've said that enough. I love him as a character because like what I was saying in the spoiler-free recommendation about how he really surprised me is kind of like what Dodger was saying. When I first saw him, I was like, oh, he's just the whiny kid who feels really shy and insecure and isn't going to change anything, or it's going to take thousands of chapters for him to change. But he started, like, he realized what he wanted to do, and every time he realized it, he made mistakes getting towards that goal, but he's consistently working towards the goal and, like, becoming the person that he wants to be. And so he has, like, the insecure moments, but then there are other moments where we see him being a lot more confident and not like stumbling over words, like with the girls. Like he doesn't, whereas other 14-year-old boys in manga like that are shown as insecure, like are just stumbling over words, blushing, can't get any words out. It's always really awkward. Like he has full conversations with them and he treats them as people. Like he doesn't treat them as if they're this foreign entity that he has no idea how to handle. Like he obviously is incredibly attracted to them in certain body parts, and they show that, which is totally normal.
But he's also supposed to be 14. Right?
Yeah, he's also supposed to be 14, exactly.
He's like,
and so,
nips.
He's like, nips. Oh, booty.
Oh, I saw booty there.
I saw booty. Saw booty cleavage. And then he still like has conversations with them, and that's something that's really refreshing, is to see him interact not just with the other guy characters, but the girl characters too.
I would sum up this manga as one man's quest to become a main character.
That's so true.
I think that's a good way to put it.
I mean, you see a lot of slice of life style manga that carry on, and they don't ever get to the point where there's significant character development. And I can't think of one right off the top of my head, but
I know there are plenty. I agree with you. There are plenty.
I'm sure people who are better versed in this genre than I am can agree with me on this one. But they just will roll on for chapter after chapter. Like in Monthly Girls Nozaki, the stuff that he writes is that sort of series.
Yeah.
Reference.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, maybe Nozaki can to a degree as well. But yeah, for him, like to take him from chapter 1 and what we see of him in chapter 1 and to see what he's up to in chapter 15 or even in chapter 9 is just mind-blowing amounts of character development for something that they could have just kind of written off and just be like, well, he's going to fall into this and he's going to stumble into this and this stuff's going to happen, but he's not really going to have any agency, which is a pet peeve of mine. But they gave him a lot of agency in his own story, and it's pretty brilliant.
For sure. I was trying to explain this to Aaron this morning, and I don't think I did a very good job of it, so I'm probably going to fuck this up again.
If it helps, I probably wasn't very good practice because I was just like...
Yep, me too. I agree. So one of the things that I liked was that, well, actually, kind of building off of what you were saying, I did really love that there were moments when I was reading the manga and I thought to myself, oh, maybe he's not gonna wind up being the main character. Like, there were definitely times where I was reading, because I've never seen the anime, I don't know the story at all. So there were definitely times where I was like, maybe this is gonna be like here's Beck, you know, a band that's made up of kind of like older young adults who are going to, you know, have a very successful band, and then simultaneously we'll have this story arc with this much younger kid who's learning to love music. Like, I would be totally down for that. Like, maybe those paths aren't necessarily going to cross. And yeah, I really dug that his character working really hard to become better at something is what got him involved in what was going on with the rest of the story. The other thing that I loved that I was trying to talk to Aaron about this morning was that I loved that they established really early on that he's a good singer. And I was like, oh, well, he's probably going to wind up singing in the band. But then he put so much work into the guitar that I was like, oh, well, maybe he won't wind up singing. Like, maybe that was just kind of like a fluffy afterthought, and he's going to entirely focus on guitar. And I don't know why in my mind I wasn't thinking to myself, somebody could work both of those things into a story, Dodger. Like, a good storyteller could make it so that this is something that comes up again.
Well, it's because we never see it. It's always just one or the other.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch him get involved with the band through like really hard work and perseverance with guitar, and then have this moment where he just winds up singing, and everybody's like, well, wait, what the fuck? You're actually a good singer too. And I was like, that's right. He's a good singer, right? Like, I loved that wound up happening as well, where it was like, here's this thing that you're just naturally gifted at. And then here's this thing that you've worked really, really hard to become passable at, right? And we get to see you continue to become better at that and incorporate the two. Super cool.
It was like they used the guitar as misdirection about the singing.
It's like the guitar was actually Kuroko the whole time.
Gotta make a Kuroko reference every episode.
I did it for you.
I led you into it.
It's you guys' fault that I watched
you
that
didn't
show.
Let me down.
Oh, yes. No
So
shame.
good.
No regrets.
It's so good.
Yes, it's so good.
It is.
so
I love it so much.
Let's see. I have a whole bunch of notes that I took, actually.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We were talking about how this thing goes really fast, and that's because there are a lot of establishing shots in this for what could be considered a shonen manga. There are also a lot of like really big panels of just skylines and skyboxes, and it's just like, oh yeah, it kind of reminds us where we are, because you can kind of forget, you know, where on Earth you are when you read some of this stuff, especially if they're Bleach and they don't put in backgrounds very often.
Oh, I was gonna say Boku no Academia.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
they're
take
like,
your word
we have
for
this
it.
whole world that's filled with mutants, but you'll never fucking see them. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah, they kick off, I think, almost every chapter with a couple of big pages of just skylines and character faces, and then one shot of one of the female characters in her school uniform, or usually in a swimsuit for whatever reason, and that
she's on
that
swim
art.
team, duh.
Hey,
Prof, it is art.
Listen, when you're on
Well, no,
swim
it's
team,
great.
you only wear your swimsuit all the
Yeah,
time.
that's all you wear.
As somebody who was on swim team, I never had actual clothes. It was just swimsuits.
There was no point in buying clothing other than swimsuits.
And I never know when I'm gonna need to get in the water. I don't know. You need to be prepared.
always
You're like Haru. Always wearing
Oh, I didn't actually always just wear a swimsuit. I'm just saying.
But yeah, no, it just amused me. Like, oh right, I guess this has a big chunk of this manga is about the swim team for
some reason.
This is cool. It was just like, wow, they're double dipping in that. I guess if the music aspect just didn't take for whatever reason. Well, swim team.
It suddenly becomes a sports manga halfway through.
Can I mention another difference between the manga and the anime?
Yes.
Yeah.
The context for Koyuki joining the swim team isn't really there in the anime. I should know
really?
because I just rewatched that episode.
Interesting.
Wow.
That's
So
it.
you
Yeah,
don't
he
have
just
the whole,
kinda-
like,
He just kind of shows up at the pool.
It's just
Oh,
like,
goody.
eh,
So he's
I'm
not
here.
an accidental pervert. He's just being a creeper.
Ugh,
Yeah, pretty much.
don't like
Sounds
this
better.
much.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, that whole thing with his friend being like, I stole girl clothes, what do I do? And him being like, we stole girl clothes, haha, just joking, we want to be on the swim team. I was like, this is weird.
I love that he like tried to cover for his friend. He's like, I can't just abandon him.
Oh my god.
Like, Koyuki, you're too
no.
pure.
you can.
You're too pure,
Yeah, you
Koyuki.
can definitely abandon
That
your
is a
friend right now.
situation
I hate that
where
for
you
brothers.
abandon your friendship.
That friend, he's a weird one. I don't know. It's just something about him. He looks like he's like 40. And he's a middle schooler.
He does.
Yep.
Yeah, they do that a lot in this. Like, if you're a background character or you're a bad guy, they're gonna pull a Chester A. Gould and they're gonna make you look ugly.
So, dude, the bully. There's so many frames of that bully just being like,
Yeah.
He had full-on Griffith faces happening at some
Every
points.
single time he was playing the guitar, there was like an awkward shadow over his face.
I'm so
It's
glad,
like,
I'm
what are
so
you
glad I
trying
didn't.
to
I'm
do?
not the only one who noticed
Oh no,
that.
I agree.
There's so many derp faces pulled.
Oh man, there's so many. The jaw, the jaw and the chins.
Oh my god, the way that I mean, I know we're not talking about art yet, but holy shit, the number
Right,
of
yeah.
profile images where somebody was
like-
talking and the jaw was like a full inch like forward from the rest of the face.
There
I
was,
like, how?
yeah, there was one picture I think I
We're in a world
screenshotted.
full of Jay
Hold
Lenos.
on, let me see.
They are all the
This
Crimson
one, this one, like of Koyuki.
Mhm.
Like, what's happening to him?
Chin.
The
I'm
art's
suddenly
getting better.
mutating.
Like as we went on,
going
the art
on?
definitely got better, but the jaw
Yeah.
still there were still jaw problems throughout the
And
whole.
like even his eye, like there's this giant space where his eye's just trying to fly away from his face.
And
There's
I
no
love that
space.
the lady there is just looking at him like, what's happening to your head, buddy?
She's just like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the bully part, I completely forgot about that. But that was another situation where Koyuki obviously kind of gave in to his demands and was like getting him the money and all of that, but we never saw Koyuki like, even when he was ostracized by his entire class, he didn't get really depressed. He was like, well, I guess I can just focus on playing guitar at home then because I don't have friends. I was like, aw. I was like, that was another part where I expected it to go one way and it ended up not going completely in that direction I was expecting it to.
You know what the jaws remind me of?
Yes.
Parasite.
Somebody in chat just said that.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, it could be a
it's
Kagi,
true.
I guess.
Yeah. The just
Yeah. No spoilers. There's a dude who makes a face very similar for a very specific reason. Yeah.
Wasn't that bully kind of like coming around at the end and being like, Koyuki's actually really good at guitar? Like he was having a change of heart, I think, near the end of what we read.
Yeah, I
right?
think
It
the
count-
last time we saw him, he
I
was
think it was
like,
coming off more as like jealousy though. Like
Oh,
that's how I
really?
read into it.
It could have run either way, I think. And
I just want there to just be happiness and love. So I was like, oh, he's coming around to Koyuki's pure soul. And he
yeah,
loves him.
because it was phrased like
OTP.
Koyuki left the room, right? They walked in on
Yeah.
him playing guitar on one of their guitars, and he was like, "Oh, lol, haha," and then just left. And then the bully was like, "He was playing a very difficult song just now," and I was like, "Are you impressed, bully?"
Are you impressed? Or are you
impressed?
jelly? Are you not impressed?
I love how we've given up on trying to remember what these characters' names are, aside from the main group.
When you're
Like-
reading
I know
it
Koyuki and Rin,
so,
that's
when you're reading
Yeah,
it
Maho,
so
yeah.
fast,
Maho
and
is
Maho.
the
Can we
one.
talk about Maho?
Maho,
That's-
I want Koyuki and Maho to get
I
together.
know.
Best
I
girl.
want them to be in
Best girl.
She's so cute.
Yeah.
I love her.
That was another part that like the Ichi-chan, what was the name of his friend from elementary school? Not Ichi-chan, obviously, by the look Dodger's
Izumi.
giving me.
Izumi.
Yeah.
That was another part that was like, oh, he's gonna be completely fixated on her for the entire manga and like doting and trying to get her attention, and then she kind of vanished. She like just trickled out and disappeared
like she
for a
shows
while.
up every now and then, but
Yeah, but she was
Yeah.
nowhere. Like it was another like, oh, she's not a main focus at all. She was kind of the reason that he got introduced to a ton of stuff. So she
Yeah.
was like a catalyst for a lot of things. But then as his focus shifted away from her, she kind of shifted out of the story. And so Maho came in, and I love Maho so much.
I love Maho. I loved. I don't know about the translation that you guys read, but when she kissed him in public, there was like a big note at the bottom of the page that was like, "This is a big no-no in Japan." I was like,
It's like, oh, yeah, that's.
I was like,
He's one of those expatriates, you know.
Those,
Or her
I was gonna say
introduction.
those
can't trust those
Americans.
expatriates.
Yeah.
Her introduction was just amazing. He's like, "Oh, so you can't read kanji either?" He's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah, she
And
goes
right there,
so-
we immediately establish her personality.
Yep,
She's like, "Who the
nailed
fuck
it
are
right
you
on
to
the
come
point.
in and say something like
exactly.
that to me?"
Yeah. We're not friends. You don't get to talk to me like that. Fuck yourself. I just like left. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I love you. Come
But-
back, lady.
But I also love that she was the one that really discovered his talent from the group.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that she constantly, whenever they're doing something that's very distinctly Japanese, she'll be like, God, Japanese people are so weird. And they're like, you're Japanese too.
I really like how she's such a like. She's not a tsundere at all, which is really refreshing too in and of itself. But she's also just so encouraging of Koyuki in like her own specific way. But she's just constantly pushing him and trying to get other people to understand that he's incredibly talented. But she's not doing it in a way where she's like, "Yo, look, he's super talented. You guys are dumb." She's like wanting him to show it off himself, which I really liked.
And I like
almost
that she's
a character.
yeah.
What?
What?
I was
don't
about
write
to
those.
say, like, she's very empowered. Like, she
Yeah.
has her own dreams. She doesn't want to be a singer, even though everybody believes that she should
Yes.
I love that too.
She is her
I really,
own
really
person.
liked that.
be. And it's amazing.
Yeah, no
Yes.
joke.
Yeah, the whole like, I'll do anything you want if you win. And he was like, let's both go pro. And she's like, I don't want to go pro.
Yeah.
Like,
She's like, of all the stuff.
enjoy singing, but I don't want that. I was like, yay.
Mm-hmm. She knows what she wants.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to think. Let's talk about Ryusuke. We haven't really talked about him
Yeah.
too much.
The lady killer.
Lady killer. His fancy hair. There were a lot of times where I got him and Maho mixed up. Where I was like, what are
Me
you doing?
too.
What are you doing here, Maho? You weren't here a little bit ago.
Oh.
I was like, oh, it's Ryusuke talking.
Ryusuke's girl pretty.
He is very girl pretty.
It's
Is he
good.
that girl pretty in the anime?
He's got like these eyebrows too.
Yeah.
If they do like a zoom in and he's got his hair back, I'm like, Maha?
Yeah. It's
They
like,
don't
Hey,
No, Ryusuke.
in the anime they don't really put his hair back that much.
Oh.
Like, I was completely thrown off whenever like he would do that. It would take a second to register that was him.
yeah.
Because in an anime it's just nope, hair down the entire time.
Just
Yeah.
so flowy and American.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my gosh. But yeah, what were your guys' thoughts on him as his character from what we saw at the beginning and then towards the end?
I honestly don't think we got a lot of him.
We
We're
did.
still learning who he is as a character. All we know is that he is Sugoi as fuck.
I thought you said Sugoi's fuck.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
and then I was
A
like,
character
oh, I
named
got you.
Sugoi, and I was like, was there somebody named Sugoi in this manga? I was really confused.
I mean, he really cool. To the non-weebs in the chat.
So cool.
He's super cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, we
Not as
know.
cool as Eddie.
Forget about
Not as
him.
cool as Eddie.
Not as cool as
Nobody's as
Eddie's
cool as
guy.
Eddie,
Right.
let's be honest.
Nobody is.
Yeah, he's got lots of like drama with him and the other dude.
Mhm.
He
Apparently
was
got
like
shot at.
he was like extremely serious for a long time, and then near like the last 5 chapters or so, I felt like we kept getting little snippets of him being really goofy, and I was like,
Dorky,
who are
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to have way more focus than
Me
he
too.
did. Which was
Mhm.
another thing that I was like, oh, you think it's going to be this way, tricked you, la la la, misdirection. And so, yeah, I was expecting to get a ton more of his character, and we definitely got a lot, but it's leading there. Like, this was such a Koyuki focused section that I think right at the end we were just getting into everybody else. Like, I feel like what we just hit isn't necessarily the like what we got to in chapter 15 isn't like Koyuki's just appearing, but I feel like that was the pause on his character arc, and then we're gonna be going into other characters.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Yeah, I hope so.
I know, yeah. Yeah.
I also, this is total weird Prof's random knowledge moment, but his guitar, Lucille, is it shares the name with BB King's guitar.
Oh,
which is
really?
Oh,
Lucille.
really?
Yeah. I think it's BB King. There's a famous guitar named Lucille, and it's not just his.
Yeah, you're right.
That was a sentence.
It's not just his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BB King
Professor
even wrote a
dropping
song called
knowledge.
Lucille about his guitar.
Yeah, perhaps.
Prof educating.
Yeah, it's what I'm
Yeah.
here for.
Yeah, that's another thing that's in the manga that isn't very much in the anime is all the very specific music references.
Mm-hmm.
Like references to like a lot of band names are changed. Like instead of them or Koyuki learning that Beatles song, in the anime they developed this very different, very similar styled music. But they make up a band and use different music because of licensing reasoning.
Yeah.
Right.
Having gravitation flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Aw,
gravitation. I
You
haven't
could've-
thought about that one in a long
I was
time.
gonna say you could have been so much more.
I'm trying.
Anime. And anime
But,
could have been so
yeah.
much more.
Now, didn't they do a cover for in the Japanese version of the anime? Didn't they do a Beatles song in there somewhere that
That's way
they
later.
changed later? Or is
It's-
it way later on?
It's way later on. I'll just leave it at
Yeah.
that.
How many episodes is the anime?
It's
6?
2 course. It's like 23, 24
Not
episodes,
that
something like that.
People in chat want us to talk about Beck.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, and I was like, maybe we should.
Sweet
Yeah,
baby
we should get on
Patches
that.
dog. He's so cute.
He's so I was like, you're gonna be a main character, aren't you? The
I
instant
bet
you showed
you're
up.
main
You're so
character,
cute.
Beck.
Oh, we've seen him like maybe 3 or 4 times.
I
Yeah.
know.
And most of the time, he's licking his junk
Yeah.
we even or attacking Koyuki.
or attacking
We-
Koyuki.
We even saw his alter ego, his
Yeah.
American alter ego in New York.
I was like, what?
Yeah, the rest of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's
clearly
what I
like
was
3
wondering. I
dogs.
was like, are those like other bits
Did
that were taken from the same dog? and
did
put on a different
Blackjack get his freak on there?
Franken
Jack-
puppy.
dog? Blackjack went to America and was like, nobody will let me operate on him here.
I don't want to.
Guess I'll work at the vet.
Wasn't there something else like? This will be my last thought, and if anybody else has any last thoughts, then we'll wrap up. We'll talk about art and then give final thoughts and ratings. Because we're coming up on 45 minutes here. There was something with like there was a singer shown on TV and people were like they freaked out at the end of chapter 15. Do you remember that? There was like they
Yeah.
showed somebody on the TV. It was like in America, da 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 da.
Oh yeah,
and
it
Risuke
was
was
a
like,
diva that killed
Yeah.
herself.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she was like named not after Macy Gray, but kind
I
of.
know, but kind of after.
Yeah, I
Mason
was like, wait, is this a reference to... Yes, it is. Yes, it's definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be something else that will probably be coming up.
Yeah, gee, I hope they expound on that a little bit
Yeah.
and not just.
They just like touch on it. It's like, oh, misdirection again. It's like, oh, what's it going to?
Ooh,
One thing
I
that
love
we
it.
didn't, one thing that we didn't talk about though, to change the subject a little bit because I don't want to spoil anything, but
Oh,
Chiba, who Chiba is as a person and why he's my favorite
Chiba.
character.
Dude,
He is the
when
most
Shiba showed up, I was
badass.
like, I'm gonna love this guy. And I do love that guy.
Yeah.
I like that he like when he was fighting the one dude who was picking on
Koyuki.
Koyuki. And he came up and he was getting the shit beat out of him, and then Ryusuke came up, and all of a sudden Chiba was really good. He's like, oh wait, I actually do have karate skills.
Right.
I love him. He's fun.
Just
He
happen
was
to
a
have these in my
fantastic
pocket.
character.
Yeah, he's great.
But-
And in the anime, he sounds like Zach De La Rocha.
Yep.
Very much so in the dub. Real good. The casting for that was just phenomenal.
Sweet.
Yeah, the way that they posed him, like the very first shot of him with the baseball bat, just like, ugh, I was like, you're gonna be a character that just keeps showing up. I know it.
It's like, you're coming back.
Like he oozes charisma. That is who you want for your lead singer in a band. Like
Yeah.
someone that commands attention,
Yeah.
like Chiba when he's in any panel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
That's
first
what-
person I'm
yeah.
looking for.
Yeah. I agree with that. Let's talk about art, like going from the like how Chiba's pose in the panels, like in the use of art with that. Like, what are your guys' opinions on the art beyond Beyond Jaws.
The jaws are terrible. Moving on.
There seemed to be an not over alliance, but it's pretty clear to me at least that he was using a lot of reference models and that sort of thing to get the posing that he wanted.
Yeah.
Maybe to the detriment of the manga as a cohesive artistic work, where you can tell like there's kind of a hard shift when he's going from stuff that I'm assuming that since this guy's name is Harold that it's a he, but you never know. There's this really hard shift where he goes from like stuff that he has pulled directly from probably magazine models, swimsuit models, any model he can get his mitts on, and then when it goes back to the stuff that he maybe draws freehand, it's kind of a hard gear shift, and it might make. I think it might add to a surreal feeling for some of the scenes, especially I'm thinking the one where Maho strips naked and hops in a pool.
Yeah.
Where there's that splash panel of her jumping in, and I was like, oh wow, you're actually a really talented artist, but that matches up with little to nothing that we've seen in the work so far. So it's like it's kind of like, all right, you pulled out the big guns, but it kind of clashes.
Like it honestly strikes me as him trying to draw as realistically as possible, but that not really being his strong suit.
Right.
Because the panels where you can see that he's not really working off a model is where he's really showing off his skill.
Yeah.
So I would have to agree with that. And the art overall, I didn't really care for it. Like there were maybe a couple panels that I liked, where like when there was one panel specifically where Koyuki was on a guitar, and you can tell that he was really into it, and that emotion that Koyuki was feeling was really conveyed by that image. So it's very hit or miss, more miss than anything.
Yeah.
It bugs me sometimes when he starts singing and he puts his hands behind his back like a dork.
He's such a dork. He's such a squishy dork.
But I mean, it conveyed what was necessary, but it didn't. That was not a strong pose, especially not for singing.
Yeah, the art is definitely, I think, the lowest part of the manga. I was so into the story that it didn't like detract anything from me, but I do think that the art is the like weakest link here. Like there's times where, like Lou, you said, where there were characters that were posing with guitars, you could kind of feel the emotion from that. But beyond that, everything was very bare bones. Like it felt like, this is what I want to do so I can keep telling the story. So here you go. Like la-di-da-di-da, not too much detail in anything. And a distinct lack of backgrounds for a lot of panels, unless it needed like an establishing. But most of the time there wasn't anything in the background. So it was all we had to really focus on were the characters, and the characters were really wacky, like proportions and stuff like that a lot of the time. So I wasn't a huge fan of the art, but it wasn't so horrible that I was like, I can't keep reading this manga. Like the story more than made up for the art being weak, I thought. Dodger, did you go? You went, right?
Not like full on, but I agreed with Lou. I thought that the art was really hit or miss. I thought that it got better over time, and the jaws continue to be terrible.
Yeah. Summed up.
Yeah.
Summed up all of our feelings.
Those are the notes. Those are the cliff notes of my feels.
All right, let's wrap up and give our final thoughts and ratings. Does anybody want to go first? I know the number always.
The number is always hard. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
No, I didn't know.
I think that the whole thing, as a whole, it's a good piece of work, and the art gets better. The storytelling, if the storytelling remains on point, this is definitely something you should follow all the way through to the end. But you might have trouble. It drags a little bit here and there. That being the case, I give it 2 Xeon mobile suits Char Custom out of 3.
Perfect.
Yeah!
Perfect.
Perfect. I think that's my favorite rating we've ever had.
Yeah.
I can't match that, Prof. It's too good.
I think I'm gonna give it a 7.93752. I'm not gonna remember that. I'm not gonna repeat that. So, you get to hear it once. But I really enjoyed the story. I really love well done slice of life coming of age stories. Like, those are just my jam. I've realized, as much as I love manga where heads explode and dudes make out, like, this is definitely like a genre that I really enjoy. And Beck does, yeah, Beck does it really, really well. And I really love the main character, and I love how often the mangaka makes me feel like it's going to go a very generic route and ends up going a different way, and I think that's really cool. And I really want to read more, and I also really want to watch the anime because I feel like I've just gotten a taste of stuff, and I already love what I've seen. So, but the art was really weak, so that kind of.
Yeah, I've been trying to decide between a 6.5 and a 7 because I did enjoy it, and I think I can tell that it's gonna get like really good, you know, and you can kind of tell like it's going towards something really good. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit slow, but it wasn't a detriment necessarily. It was just, you know, it was just a chill coming of age story about music. And the art was not fantastic, but I still enjoyed it a lot. So, yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Stellar.
All right.
So good.
This entire time while I was trying to figure out a number, to focus on a number, I'm trying to remove nostalgia from the equation. Seeing as how I am very much attached to the series and I know where it goes and it does so many things that I like later on. But if I'm to focus specifically on what we read, I'll give it a 7.5 burly, awesome 40-year-old swim instructors out of 10.
We didn't talk about him.
I know. And I just
He's pretty great.
Yeah, he's pretty
I
great,
love
so.
him.
He
I
needs to
sent
manscape.
you guys a
He
link
peed
to
in the
like one of
pool
his.
and not
He
from
did pee
inside
in
the pool.
So good.
But
Oh
yeah,
man.
it was a pretty good read, and I know it gets better from where we are because the band just got together. So I mean, come on, this is really the kicking off point for the story. So
Yeah.
I'd like to read more. I know it's good, 7.5 with the expectation of it going up.
Woo! Awesome. Yeah, so if you guys have hung out and you haven't read the manga, we definitely suggest you go and check it out. So it's a great read. I want to read more. I want us to add more of it to the schedule for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and read the description for the manga that we're reading next week. And y'all in chat get to guess what it is.
Best game.
Hang on. I have to go find it. I'm really
have it up.
excited. I just pulled it up too.
Okay.
So, or if you want to read it, Lou, you go ahead because I clicked the wrong link. So,
Perfect.
All right. What can you do when you get mistaken for murder? Nothing. You go to prison. Lucky you. Your inmates are some of the biggest cutthroats in the prison. Seriously, you are lucky, especially when zombies attack.
I'm so excited.
What
This
is it,
one of
guys?
This is one of my favorite manga.
Well, congratulations, you stumped me.
It's new. It's new. It just
Oh,
started.
okay.
It just started within like the last 2 years or two. It's
okay.
2 years, I think. It's yeah.
Ah, Gila
Yay!
Monster got it.
Apocalypse
Gila
Story
Monster.
Day! Yay! Or Fort of Apocalypse, as it is on Crunchyroll, who will also be sponsoring next week. And if you want to check it out, there is a link on our Reddit to read it. And also, if you want to do the premium membership free trial, you can read it through that way too, so you don't have ads. So yeah, I'm so excited. We are reading chapters 1 through 13 with special guest Cry. It's going to be our Halloween episode, so it's going to be spooky.
I'm so spooky.
But I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite manga. I read it like last year right before Halloween, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so good. And I just got real into it. And the chapters are pretty long, which is why we're only reading 13. But I read like I read it so fast, and it just keeps getting better. Oh my god, the art in it. Oh god, it's gonna be good. At least I'm gonna love it. At least I'm gonna be excited. It's gonna be great to have Cry on too. It'd be awesome. So yeah, that is what we are reading next week. If you would like to check out the schedule for everything that we are reading in the future, you can do so on reddit.com/r/MangaPod, which is our subreddit. You can also check out other threads that are going on there. We have somebody doing a compilation video of best moments from MangaPod, so definitely go and check out that thread and leave your favorite moment from some MangaPod episodes. There's some pretty good ones, so you should definitely go and do that. What comes next? What do we do next? We say goodbye, right? After we shout out our stuff?
Yeah, we shout out our bits.
Okay, so we're gonna shout out our bits. Here are my bits, people.
Here are my bits.
Here are my bits. I am Aaron from Happily Aaron. I have a YouTube channel where I am just a big old weeb. I do all sorts of weeb stuff like anime reviews, anime first impressions. All of the previous manga pods are hosted there. I had just started doing my mailbox opening video stuff called Special Delivery because I like my pun.
Adorable.
Yeah. So if you want to go and check that out, and if you want to find me on any of their social media, I'm Happily Aaron all across the everything.
I'm Dodger. You might be watching this on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/dexteritybonus. If so, you should click the little heart and follow me on there. Just saying. It's totally free.
I like that your eyes are closed, except at the end when you went,
She was reverse winking.
But you can also find me on youtube.com/pressheart to continue. I play visual novels and dating sims. I do a weekly show about the games industry. And I've been trying to do more anime flavored videos. I'm going to be doing a fall season first impression video now that I think I've seen the first episode of everything I care about. So, which is a lot of them. It's going to be nonsense. But if that sounds interesting to you, I would love if you'd check that out. And on all the social medias, I'm at DexBonus, DEXBONUS. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. My name is Lou, and I'm from Lou Talks Anime. You can find me at youtube.com/Lou Talks Anime now, where I just do weeb trash and stuff, and sometimes I try different things, and I'm going to be trying something different next month, but I'm working on it now, and it's kind of a thing that I tweeted about. So if you follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Lou Talks Anime, you may find it if you dig deep enough. I also have an Ask a Friend. You can ask me questions where you may ask me about said thing that I'm working on. I may or may not answer. And Instagram. I will take pictures of that stuff too.
Oh man, jeez, you guys are everywhere. All right, if you enjoyed listening to me yammer on tonight, you can find more of my anime reviews where I complain about stuff that's like several decades old at ProfessorOtaku D2 on YouTube. Everywhere else on Twitter, on Twitch, on Tumblr, you can find me at ProfessorOtaku. I kind of have a lockdown on that particular name. Tomorrow, my Monster Musume review is going live, so check that out. It should be
snaps! I think you and I have similar opinions on that.
So
we were talking about
Eastern Standard. Oh, I wasn't kind. Additionally, you can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/ProfessorOtaku. I am currently trying to get a show called the Gundam Retrospective funded. We funded the pilot, but need a little bit more to get that a monthly series. I also am working on the history of Mecha. There are 4 episodes up already. Greatest characters you never heard of.
Those are good series.
Thursday I'm doing a live stream with one of my buddies over at Spoiler Free Games on Twitch. We're going to be streaming the Ghostbusters 360 game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's metal. We have a thing for Spoiler Free Games at every Halloween, which is like our anniversary. We do a Ghostbusters game. So we're really worried about next year because I think we're out of them.
You're like, oh no.
Oh no.
You've done them all. You've done them all.
But, yeah, you can check out my gaming channel, which is Prof Sucks at Games. Shouldn't be that hard to find. And I think that's it. I'm going to be at Youmacon hanging out with Arcada. You guys know him. You guys love him.
He was on our episode of Monster Musume.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I
might try to hog tie him and make him do a video with me or something. don't count on it. But we'll just see what happens from there. So if you see me or him running around, don't be afraid to say hi or deck me because I made fun of your favorite show.
No, don't do
I
that.
have an iron jaw.
Don't give him that. Don't give him that option.
You just reminded me something when you brought up a con. I'm actually going to a convention this Saturday, Animate Miami. So if you see me there, say hi. I don't bite very hard.
Oh,
Only if you ask me
Yandere Lou.
Very yandere.
Yandere Lou talks anime.
Super yandere Lou.
Awesome.
Lou
Thank you.
Yandere.
Thank you, Prof, so much for joining us. You were a wonderful guest, and we'll definitely have to have you back for some time in the future. Whenever you want to come back, we'll love to have you.
Yeah.
Yay, you were
Definitely.
great.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you all so much on YouTube and Twitch for watching us. Thank you to everybody who was new in the chat. We hope that you enjoyed your first MangaPod. And we will be here same time, same place, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time next Tuesday here on twitch.tv/dexteritybonus, as well as youtube.com/happyaaron, reading chapters 1 through 13 of Apocalypse No Toride, aka Fort of Apocalypse, which you can find on Crunchyroll. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye.
Bye! 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 Bye!